Hi mga ka-popcorn! Kakasimula pa lang naman, we are barely a month old and in a short span of time, ang dami na namin nakitang support from you. So we're very, very thankful. Kami dito sa SISNE Studios, the entire team is very, very grateful sa suporta nyo. Kasi talagang we're a small team. Ilan ba tayo? 1, 2, me, number 3. Ganun po kami karami. But honestly, thank you so much. So, if you're one of the newer viewers, my name is Momo, and I live here sa SISNE Studios, and I chika about pop culture channelings from the past to the present. And for today's video, very influencer. For today's video, meron akong question sa inyo. Saan nyo gusto mag-guest? Sa face-to-face o sa especially for you? So, may mga girlies out there na taong bahay. Pero ako, taong Twitter. And as I was scrolling through Twitter's many kabaklaans, may nakita akong tweet. Now, I don't know about you, pero ako matagal na akong low-key stan ni Chang Ami. And I think nagsimula to kasi very chismosa ako sa mga away-away. So, this started sa face-to-face era ni Chang. And yes, there is something to be said about the fact na pag tinignan mo yung filmography ni Miss Amy Perez, parang she was just always there. She was always on TV while we were growing up. May nag-tweet dito, Chang Ami has worn many hats throughout her career, but not many people nowadays know that she used to be a regular pinch hit news anchor, a role that she just reprised recently, diba? May nag-post pa dito ng noontime history ni Amy Perez. From Kwarta o Kahon, Eat Bulaga, Isang Linggo na po sila, Magandang Tanghali Bayan, to Showtime. Ang dami ng pinagdaanan sa noontime ni Chang Ami talaga. Now, meron tayong tinatawag na mere exposure effect where, when you get exposed to someone's presence, be it in the most epal ways out there, being in like the most consumable and ever-present media, we tend to like someone more. But obviously, there is something about Chang Ami's persona, especially kung paano niya hina-handle yung mga trabaho niya as a host and how she actually herds her co-host in her noontime stints these days. And today, where she's actually able to, banter with like very wild co-hosts and yet still be able to herd them like a mother. The mother that she is. Mother! And talagang it's Showtime considers her as their mother figure naman.
Ayan! May sasaktan mo ako kung wala si Chang Ami. Matagal na tayo
nag-aaway.
So for me lang more than just seeing her a lot, she was actually a really, really healthy presence for all of us on TV. Ako, for me, as someone who does not have the most perfect relationship with my mom,
Naiintindihan ko yung sitwasyon. Mahirap talaga yun para sa bata.
parang kay Chang Ami ko kasi nakuha yung mga pagpapalaki sa akin na hindi ko nakuha as a child or as a teenager or even now as an adult. Hindi pa ako tapos palakihin. And balik tayo sa social media, clearly, every time I watch people tweet about Chang Ami or in Showtime in general, I'm not alone in that sentiment. Like, a lot of people see Chang as not just a Chang, but like their actual TV mama. So, ang bongga talaga ni Chang, di ba? I mean, she was there all the time and because it was so normal, hindi nga natin napansin eh. Looking back, ngayon na lang natin na-realize na, oh my God, she was there all the time. So ngayon, kami dito, lagi namin ito na pag-uusapan. Pero ngayon, there definitely is a shift that we can see sa noontime landscape dito sa Pilipinas. And I can say that Chang Ami's presence is actually connected to the change that is happening. Ngayon, feeling ko, kaya hindi natin masyadong napansin yung presence ni Chang throughout the years, constantly sa noontime. It's because ang laging binibida, di ba, sa noontime, were the boys, were the men. The landscape was very male-dominated. Di ba, parang lagi lang silang pamacho, gano'n. And for so long, hindi naman natin madi-deny, noontime juggernaut talaga yung Eat Bulaga. I mean, coming from RPN, to ABS, to GMA, and ang forever bida dyan ay ang trio ni Tito, Vic, and Joey. And interestingly, nag-host din dun sa Eat Bulaga era na yan si Chang Ami from like the 80s to the 90s, I think. Tapos, nung nag-compete na rin for Noontime, yung ABS-CBN para tapatan ng Eat Bulaga, they turned the Sunday show sa linggo na po sila into the week-long Noontime show. Sang linggo na po sila, top billed by another trio of men, the Apo Hiking Society, si Jim Paredes, Bubay Garovillo, Danny Javier, may he rest in peace. And, andun din si Chang Ami on that show for its 5-year run in the 90s. Tapos that show somehow turned into Magandang Tanghali Bayan, and ito naman yung time nila Randy Santiago, nila John Estrada, and ni Willie Revillame. Notice a pattern? Not only was that another trio of guys, Chang Ami was also on that show. And even when Chang took a break from Noontime, she was still on early Noontime for Face to Face, probably one of the most iconic TV shows on Philippine television. She also did Umagang Kay Ganda. And she also did The Singing Bee. And now as I talk about this, na-realize ko, oh my God, Chang Ami was on TV, umaga, tanghali, gabi. But regardless, Noontime remained to be a very male-dominated space. I mean, Willie Revillame took over the Noontime slot of ABS-CBN when they created the show Wowowee. And aminin natin, those male-dominated TV shows really worked. Kahit minsan, naglalawa na talaga yung toxic masculinity, yung mga medyo misogynistic vibes. Napansin ko nga, growing up, hindi ko alam, parang unspoken rule sa Noontime television na magkaroon ng male hosts and somehow they have to always be flanked by scantily clad women. What the hell was that about? No shade to those women, because like, yes, get your money, girl. They were really talented dancers and they had really great bodies. It was just kind of odd. Not to mention then the jokes that they would make just generally on the show, but specifically when they have segments na yung parang mga girls in bikinis. Girls in bikinis! You know that song? No. Pero ayun lang. Regardless of how uncomfortable it was making a lot of the viewers, those shows were getting the numbers that the networks wanted until...
Mamimili na kayo. Pag hindi niyo yan tinanggal, ako mag-resign dito sa Wawawi. Tandaan niyo yan.
In fairness naman kay Willie, tinutuon niya talaga. So this kind of put ABS-CBN in a weird position. At feeling ko, dito na rin natin nagsimulang makita yung cracks of male domination sa Noontime. So the network actually attempted to replace Wowowee. Of course, they had to. May void sa Noontime slot. So they came up with Pilipinas Win na Win. Unfortunately, it didn't work. My God, was that a shit show. They tried. Kasi parang they didn't even make that much of an effort to like change the... I remember this clearly. Kasi it still looked like the Wowowee set. It just had a different set of hosts. See? Which was the weirdest combo. Chris Aquino and Robin Padilla. Akala siguro nila kakayanin ng tandem ni Chris Aquino and Robin Padilla yung Eat Bulaga, but it really just didn't work. I think mostly Chris and Robin just didn't have chemistry. Maybe the viewers were just changing their preferences on what they liked seeing on TV. And for me as a viewer, this became more obvious when Chris left and then Robin left. Because when Chris and Robin didn't work, they wanted to make another like Tito Vic and Joey, like another Apo Hiking. They just wanted that vibe again for Noontime. So they tried to do it with Rico, Jay Puno, with Marco Season, I think Nonoy Zuniga, and somehow nandun din si Ray Valera. They really tried. And again, it did not work. So they actually had to kill the show, and so ABS-CBN formulated a new Noontime show called Happy Yippee Yehe. And dito, pinag-reunite nila si John Estrada and Randy Santiago na sinamahan pa ng maraming comedians and prominent stars ng ABS-CBN. But, as you guys all know, still didn't work. So at this point, I think napagod ng ABS to be like, oh my God, nothing's working. They had this really great pre-Noontime show. It's Showtime. They tested it for, I think, a couple of months. Nilagyan na sa Noontime. It was fine. So when all their Noontime attempts just didn't work, they officially considered It's Showtime as their flagship Noontime show. And clearly, sa nakikita na natin ngayon, finally that worked. And actually, may example pa ng changing viewer preferences recently eh. Kasi, di ba, this whole drama between Eat Bulaga and Tape Inc. birthed the ill-fated show Tahanang Pinakamasaya. So initially, they had funny men like Paolo Contes, si Betong Sumaya. They were kind of the main faces of the show. It didn't work. So, kinailangan nila ng powers ng former actor and former Manila City Mayor Isko Moreno, and it still did not work. That show's dead. And with all of that, let's go back to me being a tambay on Twitter, aka X. Even just on Twitter, makikita talaga natin na medyo nagbabago na nga talaga yung pananaw ng taong bayan when it comes to what they really wanna see. And also, kung hindi nyo po yung itatanong, meron din po akong background sa TV production. So, for a while, ako po ay nagtrabaho behind the scenes. So, I kind of hear things from the grapevine from time to time. And what to me is really apparent is that male-centric energy is just not the vibe on Noontime anymore. Case in point, it's Showtime's domination. Pag tinignan mo yung It's Showtime, it's a noontime show na ang pinakabida ay isang baklitan. I'm sure Meme Vice wouldn't mind. It's a show top-billed by a queer icon. So parang yun pa lang, binabasag niya na yung machismo on noontime eh. Sobrang tagal na puro kalalakihan siguro yung nasa spotlight ng noontime na siguro nagsawa na tayo. I think also nasabi na rin naman namin in our previous videos na when it comes to content, especially on TV, hindi mo may iwasan ang change. And clearly, we can see that happening now. Now, we can definitely attribute It's Showtime's really good standing right now to its great content. I mean, they have great segments right now. And also, their move to a very big and prominent network, which they didn't have for so many years. But we can't deny na meron ding role dito yung cultural shift na nangyayari ngayon, especially when it comes to what viewers really prefer nowadays. And maybe the big production companies and the TV networks, maybe they should really start taking note. So ngayon, gusto kong bumalik tayo kay Tyang Ami. Because yes, for years, yung mga pamacho na yan, it worked. But I do feel like that kind of energy on TV always needed to be complemented by a feminine energy and a feminine strength, you know? Kaya feeling ko that's why recurring presence si Tyang Ami sa Noontime, because I think she's one of those women on TV that has perfected that vibe. And I know it kind of sucks that women have to kind of balance this whole thing na I'm soft but I'm strong. Soft but strong. Like, that's something that we ask of women too much. And we shouldn't. But Tyang Ami was really able to successfully be that woman. And even today, di ba very mother siya, but not in an old-fashioned way. Today, she's more like a nanay for all.
Gusto ko maging matibay ka, gusto ko maging malakas ka, tas gusto ko gawin mo lahat yung pangarap mo at gusto mong gawin sa buhay.
One of my personal favorite moments na napanood ko sa It's Showtime was when Vice Ganda openly talked about how Tyang was just very protective of her, but also of like all her anak-anakans in showbiz. So ako personally, to see someone na tinuring kong nanay just by watching TV, be like that. And I'm a queer person, and aminin natin, queer people in this country don't get enough support that we should, even from like our own parents. So to see that, I think makes me realize how far we've come when it comes to representation on television. Tsaka ako din yung sanay na, yung parang ine-expect na natin sa TV na makakakita ng misogyny, ng homophobia, at kung ano-ano pa. And hindi ko talaga in-expect that I would live in a time that when I turn on my TV or look on social media, halos lahat ng content from the most prominent noontime show right now, binabasag lahat ng yon. Hindi ko talaga akalain na maabutan ko yung ganitong klaseng programming. So, I think Noontime TV might be entering an era of yassification. Or kung hindi man, at least I think it's turning into a space where femininity is celebrated and being a woman is seen as a strength, and being queer is something that's not even an issue anymore. So ngayon, ang tanong ko na para sa sarili ko and para sa inyo rin, where will Noontime go from here? If you've been seeing It's Showtime's ratings, which are really, really good right now, tapos kunyari taga-8 Bulaga ka, and like you're a little nervous about the ratings, how can you now make sure na yung content nyo to compete with a show as groundbreaking as Showtime right now, how can you welcome more vibes that viewers like? And honestly, hindi natin alam. Ako, I don't know the answer. A lot of people don't know the answer. But I do hope that people are paying attention to this change. Totoo naman, we are in a moment in, not just on TV actually, or hindi lang para sa content, but this is really a time for the Philippines and the Filipino people to really change their views on a lot of things. And clearly, tinatamaan na yung media. So, are they gonna do something about it? We shall see. Thank you for watching that video dito sa Pop-Parinig. If you have any other topics na gusto nyong pag-usapan natin dito, just let us know in the comments below. But right now, I ask you, please like this video and subscribe to SISNE Studios para lagi kayong notified ng mga kagagahan ko. Okay? Thanks for watching and I'll see you on our next video. Paano nga yung Gen Z Paano yung Gen Z heart? Wala, ang millennial ko kasi hindi ko alam. Ganto. Ganyan. Oh, ganon. Ay, pangit pala nails ko. I should have done that.